At 0517 local time, the USS Gravely's forward gun mount comes alive with a deep mechanical rumble. Steel groans. Sailors pause mid-stride. Over the Caribbean, the destroyer's combat network crackles with a single command. Condition 3. Man all key stations. No one asks why. 3 unidentified surface contacts are rapidly approaching from the southwest. Speed increasing, formation tightening. On the tactical display, new call signs flash. Sierra 1, 2, and 3. Flag of origin, Venezuela. On the bridge, the captain doesn't need to shout. His calm orders roll through the ship. Magazines are unlocked, safeties disengaged, helmets secured. Below deck, in the Combat Information Center, operators track the targets. Closing at 28 knots, bearing 243, converging. The destroyer's 5-inch gun swivels just a few degrees, a warning gesture more than a threat. Visual contact? Negative, sir. Low silhouettes, likely fast patrol craft. The Venezuelans are running light, no heavy radar returns, just speed and purpose. Whoever's at the helm knows how to push the limits without crossing the line. The Gravely's electronic warfare suite hums online, scanning every frequency. Every ping, every emission, every whisper across the spectrum is captured. Up on deck, sailors stare toward a horizon still cloaked in pre-dawn gray. No shapes yet, just motion, faint wakes across the water. They've done this before, but not with Caracas this agitated, and never this close to the edge of international waters. This time, the order isn't stand by, it's show presence. In the operations room, the surface warfare officer leans over his console. Contacts now within 12 nautical miles and closing. Recommend classification as hostile intent. Pending confirmation, the captain replies. Bridge, hold course. Weapons. Stand ready, but do not engage down below. The ship stirs into action. Loader crews check shell feeds. CIWS teams power up radar-guided guns. The phalanx turret spins, its high-pitched whine audible even through steel walls. Every sailor in the fleet trains for this. High-speed approach drills that usually end with laughter. But drills don't come with national flags. Bridge, CIC. Contacts accelerating. Now 29 knots. Copy. Mark CPA at 4.6 nautical miles. Plot intercept vectors. The helmsman keeps the ship steady. Less than 3 miles inside international waters. Any deviation could be seen as provocation. Binoculars sweep the horizon. Still no clear visuals, but the bearings unmistakable. The Venezuelan boats are cutting straight toward Gravely's beam. For the past 2 months, U.S. Navy destroyers and Coast Guard cutters have been sweeping the southern Caribbean under Operation Sentinel South, a joint mission to choke off drug trafficking routes linked to Venezuelan waters. Officially, it's about maritime security. In reality, it's a message. Washington is watching. Just 4 days earlier, U.S. Navy helicopters intercepted 2 speedboats suspected of smuggling weapons and narcotics toward Curaçao. One of the boats ignored multiple warnings and was sunk. Caracas called it an act of aggression. The Pentagon called it law enforcement at sea. Now, Venezuela's Navy is pushing back, probing the thin line between defense and provocation. The USS Gravely, an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, is one of the most capable surface combatants afloat. At 155 meters long, it carries the SPY-1D radar, capable of tracking over 100 targets at once, and an Aegis combat system networked directly with U.S. and Allied aircraft. That kind of power makes encounters like this volatile. One misunderstanding, and the escalation curve shoots nearly vertical. The approaching Venezuelan patrol craft are likely Guayquerí class, fast, lightly armed, and built for harassment. They're not designed to win a fight. They're designed to start one. Inside U.S. Southern Command, incidents like these have a name: controlled friction. Tension calibrated to stay political, until it suddenly isn't. For the sailors aboard the Gravely, none of that matters right now. The politics are 1,000 miles away. The threat is less than 10. Every critical system aboard the destroyer is alive. On the foredeck, the 5-inch 62 caliber Mark 45 gun hums on standby, barrel fixed toward the southwest. It can fire 70-pound shells out to 13 nautical miles, accurate enough to destroy a fast-moving patrol craft if necessary. Aft, the Mark 15 Phalanx close-in weapon system, nicknamed Sea Whiz, spins its 6-barrel Gatling cannon, ready to unleash 4,500 rounds per minute. It's the ship's last line of defense, designed to shred incoming missiles into metallic dust. Sailors call it angry steel, and right now, it's one bad decision away from proving why. Inside the Combat Information Center, the Aegis system fuses radar, sonar, and electronic intercepts into a single real-time battlespace image. Every crew member can see what matters: bearings, range, vectors, and speeds. The SLQ-32V3 electronic warfare suite passively listens for hostile radar emissions, searching for the telltale rhythm of a targeting pulse. So far, nothing. Then comes the eye in the sky, the MH-60R Seahawk, the Navy's multi-mission helicopter known as Romeo. It can track submarines, scan surface contacts, and deploy sonobuoys. It's both overwatch and early warning in one machine. On deck, the flight crew moves with steady precision. Rotor blades unfold. Tie-down chains come off. Every action is measured, familiar, drilled hundreds of times before. But make no mistake, the ship is one order away from combat readiness, and everyone aboard knows it. At 0519, the Seahawk lifts off the deck, twin engines roaring into the gray Caribbean dawn. The crew's call sign is Razor 21. Their mission, eyes on, no weapons hot. As the helicopter banks south, its MX-20 sensor pod locks onto the Venezuelan patrol boats. 3 small, fast hulls running a loose V, their wakes cutting the sea like white scars, engines pushed near maximum. From altitude, the aircrew can pick out flags, sensor masts, and even sailors on deck. The lead boat carries a long, cylindrical structure aft of its bridge, likely a navigation radar or optical sensor. No deck guns are visible, but that doesn't mean the boats are unarmed. Razor 21 to Gravely. Visual confirmation on 3 hulls. Formation steady. Speed 28 knots. Copy that, 21. Maintain observation. The Seahawk's MX-20 switches to thermal. Inside the cabin, the sensor operator follows bright silhouettes. 3 men at the helm, 2 midship, 1 aft, all watching the destroyer. Down below, Gravely holds course. Its SPY-1D radar tracks the boats with centimeter-level precision, but the crew purposely avoids a lock. Locking would tip the posture from defensive to provocative. For now, the message is posture. The Romeo circles wide, a silent signal that the U.S. Navy has eyes everywhere. It's a standoff, tightening by the minute. By 0522, the range is down to 5 nautical miles, close enough for the Venezuelan crews to read Gravely's hull number, and close enough for every sailor aboard to feel the tension. The bridge makes the first move. Venezuelan naval vessels. This is a United States warship operating in international waters. You are closing at high speed. Alter course immediately. The call goes out in English, then Spanish. Silence stretches. Seconds later, CIC reports. Lead vessel still accelerating, 29 knots, closing to 4.8 nautical miles. The captain's tone remains level. Set visible posture. I want all topside systems in sight line. No targeting radars act. On deck, the phalanx, CIWS, and other systems move into clear view. The CIWS barrels catching the rising light. The 5-inch gun locked in traverse so the helmsman on the Venezuelan boats can see it. The message is explicit. We see you. Don't force us to prove it. A reply finally crackles over the comnet, accented and terse. This is Venezuelan Navy Patrol. You are operating close to our territorial waters. Identify your mission. Venezuelan naval vessels. This is USS Gravely. We are operating legally in international waters. Maintain safe separation. The bridge answers. The boats slow from 28 to about 20 knots, but hold formation, shadowing Gravely's starboard beam at roughly 3.6 nautical miles. It's a measured, deliberate dance, dangerously close to the edge. Every sailor aboard knows the unspoken rule. It's easier to start a war than to explain one. Under U.S. Navy policy, force may be used only in response to a demonstrable hostile act or clear hostile intent. A fast approach alone does not meet that threshold. Even a radar lock doesn't always count, not unless it's paired with a weapon signature. So Gravely holds steady. Her radar tracks. Her cameras record. But her missile cells stay sealed. What complicates this moment is geography. The destroyer is operating 14 nautical miles off the Venezuelan coast, still in international waters, but close enough for political theater. Venezuela claims extended jurisdiction under its Bolivarian security zone, a unilateral policy Washington has never recognized. That's why these shadow runs happen so often. Both sides are technically within their rights, both aware it's all a matter of interpretation. Legally, Gravely is in the clear. Morally, the crew just wants to avoid becoming tomorrow's headline. Because if a single sailor makes the wrong call, misreads a radar spike, or flinches at a camera feed, this could go from routine patrol to international crisis in under 10 seconds. That's the paradox of deterrence. You show strength by not using it. And right now, restraint is the only weapon that matters. By 0534, the Venezuelan patrol boats begin a slow turn east. No radio farewell, no acknowledgement. Just a quiet withdrawal that says, we've made our point. Gravely holds course and speed, logging every detail of the encounter. Radar tracks, communication attempts, power output, even gun barrel temperatures. Every byte will be sent to U.S. Southern Command before sunrise. Above, the Seahawk circles one last time before returning to deck. Its sensors capture the Venezuelan boats reforming into a line, moving parallel to the coast at reduced speed. Back in Washington, analysts will review every frame. Was it a response test? A political signal? Or just a show of frustration after a week of U.S. counter-smuggling ops that embarrassed Caracas? For the sailors aboard Gravely, none of that matters. They executed their mission, followed protocol, and kept a standoff from turning kinetic. But every commander in the Caribbean knows what this really was. A warning shot made of motion, not fire. Next time, those boats might not turn away so easily. This wasn't an accident. It wasn't an attack. It was a message, deliberate, clear, and impossible to ignore. Venezuelan patrol boats don't just wander into the path of a U.S. destroyer by chance. Every move out here carries weight. And every response, or lack of one, shifts the balance in the Caribbean. Next time, maybe someone gets too close. Maybe someone blinks first. Or maybe this quiet chess match finally turns into something louder. So, Here's the question. If you were in command of the Gravely that morning, would you have held your fire or shown force? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to know where you stand. And hey, if you want to support the channel directly, join the fleet. You'll get loyalty badges, priority replies, and help us bring more true maritime stories to the surface. Fair winds, sailors, and remember, coffee tastes better after a near incident. I'll see you in the next one.